Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I hope that you're doing fine. Today we will have verbs continuation from your last lesson when you had verbs. So I'll just share my screen and we can start. Okay, so you log in using the aplusstudent.com and then you click on your name. Hi Emily and language arts. And then we go to grade 7 verbs. So the first three lessons have been completed. If you missed that, you can just scroll down and watch the past video from the first three. And today we will start from the perfect verb tenses. Okay, so the perfect verb tense usually describes completed action. Okay, so when you have the perfect verb tense, it usually describes a completed action. It tells about something that has had or will have happened. So that's what the perfect tense action means. So it's telling about something that has had or will have happened. To form the perfect tense, use a form of the helping verb to have with the past participle of the main verb. So if you need to form the perfect tense, you need to use the form of the helping verb, which is to have, with the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of a verb is usually the same as its past tense form, but sometimes it is irregular. So the thing is, when you want to use or get the past participle, it just means the past tense form of the verb, but sometimes you know that when it comes to past tense, we have regular past and irregular past. So sometimes it could be irregular past as the past participle, but it definitely just means the past tense form of the verb. So that is to have the past tense, the perfect tense, you have to form the helping verb to have. Okay, so you have to form it using the helping verb to have and then a past participle, which is the past tense. Okay, so that is what you use to form the perfect tenses. Now, the present perfect tense tells about something that has happened or has started already. So if we say present perfect tense, it is telling us about something that has happened or has started happening. Okay, so it uses a present tense form of the helping verb to have, has, or have. Okay, it's just like right now we started the lesson, the live class, so you can say the live class has started already. Okay, so that is an example of the present perfect tense. Now we have some examples here. The sun has broken through the clouds. John and Erica have played the violin for 5 years. Now, this is for present perfect tense. So take note that the present perfect tense tells about something that has happened or has started already. And it uses has or have. Now we have the past perfect tense. The past perfect tense tells about something that had happened before something else. So past perfect tense is telling you about something that has happened before something else. So now, for example, you want to say your past perfect tense, you can tell me about something that has happened before the class right now, before we're having this class. It uses the past tense form of the helping verb to have had. Okay? So you can just say, I had dinner before the live class started. So that's it. That's what the past perfect tense means. Just telling us that, okay, I did this before this is happening right now. So it uses had. I had dinner before the live class started. So we had finished eating dinner by the time Tim arrived. Now we have the future perfect tense. The future perfect tense tells about something that will have happened by a certain point in the future. It uses the future tense form of the helping verb to have, which is will have. Okay, so it tells about something that will have happened by a certain point in the future. Now, you can say something is going to happen tomorrow in school or whatever it is, but it's going to be in future perfect tense. Okay, so you can say by this time tomorrow or by 1 p.m. tomorrow, we will have our gym class, or I will read a new book tomorrow. Okay, so it's just a future thing that is gonna happen by a certain point, a particular time. Okay, that's what this one is all about. So we will just go through some examples. So this lesson is from the perfect verb tenses. So that's what we just did. We defined what the perfect tense are, and then we have the present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. So remember that the present perfect uses has or have present. Then the past perfect uses hard, and future perfect is will have. Now, complete a sentence with the present perfect form of the verb. Government officials in Chile are closely monitoring the fast moving fire that dash more. So, what is going to be the right answer for this one? Now, government officials in Chile are closely monitoring the fast moving fire that has forced more than 10,000 people to evacuate their house or their homes. So remember that it's this question says present perfect. And like I said, present perfect has to do with has or have. So of course, has or either have would be in this answer to show that it's present perfect. Superintendent Hickman hopes that she dash her speech about the district's new curriculum guideline before she leaves the office today. So now this is asking for future perfect. So this is supposed to have will among the sentence. So Superintendent Hickman hopes that she will have finalized her speech about the district new curriculum guideline before she leaves the office today. So of course this is asking about the future perfect and it has will added to it. Now, due to the persistent leak in the ceiling, the cafeteria dashed temporarily, but it will hopefully reopen in time for tomorrow's dinner service. So it says present perfect. So what's gonna be your answer? It has to be something with has or have. Yes. Hi, R. Peter. Due to the persistent leak in the ceiling, the cafeteria has closed temporarily, but it will hopefully reopen in time for tomorrow's dinner service. So has is part of it. So remember that the present perfect could also have has, okay? You can also have has or have. So let's look at more examples before we move to the test. Before Hurricane Sandy had finished pounding the Northeast, subways and tunnels dashed, leaving thousands of people stranded, unable to get home. So this is past perfect. So remember that past perfect has something to do with hard. Always. So before the Hurricane Sandy had finished pounding the Northeast, subways and tunnels had flooded, leaving thousands of people stranded, unable to get home. So because it says past, it has hard in it. So complete a sentence with the present perfect form of the verb. In parts of Southern California, overgrown vegetation and dry condition dash an environment vulnerable to wildfires. It says present. So present is what? Have. So now this was have. Okay, have was used in this one, and in the other questions we've had so far, we had what has. So this one has have. In part of Southern California, overgrown vegetation and dry conditions have created an environment vulnerable to wildfire. Now, this other question now is for present perfect. In the past, the foundation dash effort to solve international health issues, but this year they are focusing on pressing issues in the US, such as undiagnosed mental illness. So now this one has funded. Okay, so has was using this one. Just remember that when it comes to the present, you have has or have, the past it is hard, and the future is will. Okay, so we're going to the test now. Please send in your answers so that we can interact, and I'm certain, so that I'm sure also that you know what we're talking about or what we're doing. So this says that you should put the present perfect. So the apricot scone, which is packed with fresh apricots, walnuts, cashews, and dried cherries, empty space. The carob muffin as the best-selling item on the menu. Okay, has replaced. Okay, thank you for your answer. Great. So this one also, what's gonna be your answer? This is for the past. Since I what dashed my raincoat and the rain was showing no sign of letting up, I fashioned a plastic garbage bag into a makeshift poncho. So is it misplaced or had misplaced? So had misplaced? Okay. By the time Joe is through with his current courses, he dash his health information technology degree. Future perfects. Future perfect. So what's your answer here for future perfects? Future perfect. Will have end. Will have end. Okay. As a gymnast, Kendall dashed several sprints, but fortunately none resulting in severe or chronic pain. So this is for present. For present. So has hard. Okay. Then in the past, the foundation. Okay, this was in our tutorials. Funded was in our tutorials. And okay, then this one. This is for the present perfect. You can send me your answer what you think this would be. What will this one be? Has named. Okay, so that's it for from the perfect verb tenses. Do you have any questions? Please let me know. If you have questions, just say no. Do you have any questions for the perfect verb tenses? Because I'll let you finish up the rest questions on your own if you've not done this lesson yet. So you can finish that on your own. So yeah. Do you have any questions? Let me know. If you have none, you can just say no. No, not me. Okay, great. Thank you for answering. We will just move on to the next lesson, okay? Okay, the next is what? This one. So it says to identify transitive and intransitive verbs. So we have action verbs can either be transitive or intransitive. So when an action verb is transitive, it's followed by a direct object. A direct object is the pronoun noun or or noun phrase that receives the action of a verb. To find a direct object, ask what or whom the verb is acting on. Okay, so note that action verb when an action it is followed by a direct object. And what are the direct object? The direct objects are the pronoun, noun, or noun phrase that receives the action of the verb. Okay, so to find the direct object, you need to ask who or what the verb is acting on. Okay, so what is this verb acting on? Walked her dog. What or whom did Joanne work? Her dog. The verb here is worked. Of course, the verb here is worked. Is transitive in this sentence because it has a direct object, her dog. So her dog is the direct object. So the object here is her dog and the verb is walked. Okay. So the next of is when an action verb is intransitive, it does not have a direct object. So take note that the transitive has a direct object, but the intransitive does not have object. Joanne walked around the block. What or whom did Joanne walk? There is no direct object to answer the question. So if you can see the difference in the transitive, which has a direct object, she was working her dog, but in intransitive, she's just alone. She's not working anything. She's just by herself. So there's always no direct object. The intransitive. So when an action verb is followed immediately by a prepositional phrase, it is always intransitive. The noun, pronoun, or noun phrase is a prepositional phrase. In a prepositional phrase is never a direct object. So note that when an action verb is followed by prepositional phrase immediately, it is always intransitive. So the noun, the pronoun, the noun phrase there is never a direct object. Okay, then we have linking verbs are always intransitive. The noun, pronoun, or noun phrase that follows a linking verb describes or renames the subject. So it's describing or renaming the subject. Okay, it doesn't tell whom or what the verb is acting on. Now, Joanne was a nurse for 25 years before her retirement. The verb was is a linking verb. Of course, you know linking verb. So, linking verb was is there. And then the noun a nurse renames the subject Joanne. So, the noun phrase there is a nurse and it's in the subject Joanne. So, let's see. Just take note of the transitive and intransitive, and when it is prepositional phrase, it is always intransitive. So when you see prepositional phrases, it's intransitive. And then linking verb are always intransitive also. So linking verbs are always intransitive. So when you have a linking verb like worse, it's intransitive. So let's see some questions. Let's see. The action verb is but. It is transitive because it has a direct object, our dog. Okay. So give a question here. At our request, the groomer. Now, this but our dog was highlighted with a special flea and tick shampoo. So what is the direct object here? It's gonna be what or whom are they batting? It's the dog. So this is transitive. And then also, the question: just 10 minutes of moderate exercise elevates brain activity. So the action verb is elevate. It is transitive that has a direct object, which is the brain. Yeah, because when you say what is being elevated, the brain activity. Okay. So we have the 1964 disappearance of three civil rights workers in Mississippi ignited a national discussion about race relations in the United States. So the direct object answers the question, what did the disappearance ignite? So the action verb is ignited, and then the transitive because it has a direct object, a national discussion. So you have to make sure that you really carefully to be able to tell which one is transitive or intransitive. Alexander the Great, a brilliant military leader of an undefeated army, died in 32 BC at the age of just 33. So it says that the action verb is died is yeah, and it is intransitive because it does not have a direct object. Because when you ask a question, it's not giving you a direct object. It's just giving you like a normal sentence without anything to ask, like what or whom is it identifying in the sentence. Okay, so I think that that's it for this one. Let's try the test together. Okay, so you can send in your answers if you know. Select the action verb. If the verb is transitive, also select its direct objects. So, can you look at this and then tell me which one? Olympus Mons, a massive shield volcano on Mars, cover an area about the size of Arizona. Olympus Mons, a massive shield volcano on Mars, covers an area about the size of Arizona. One. Okay, let's see. Great job. Then this next one. What is this one? First one, okay. Then what is this one? Also the first one. Okay, second one. Okay, great. And then this one also. So what's this one? Okay, first one. Okay, great job. And then this one also, what do we have? Which of them? The first or the second? So what's our answer here? The second one. Okay, good job. So the last one that we will do together, what do you think? The first and the second? What's gonna be our answer here? First one, I think. Okay, so that's it. That's the first one. It was correct. So you can finish the rest of the questions, okay, on your own. But tell me, do you have any questions, guys? If you have a question, you can ask me. Do you have questions? Any question? Okay. Any question, or you do not have any? Should you have any? Okay, so we will just move to the last one if you guys do not have any questions. Okay, so it says identify linking verbs, predicates, adjectives, and predicate nouns. Okay, so first let's know what a linking verb is. A linking verb is a verb that connects the subject to adjective or noun in the predicate. Okay, so link is a verb that connects the subject to an adjective or noun in the predicate. A linking verb does not show action. Yes, linking verbs do not show action, they only just connect the sentences together. So Washington DC is the east there is the linking verb. Home to the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monuments. Okay, so you see is there is the linking verb, was is a linking verb. All they do is just connect the two things in the sentences. They could connect like the subject, predicate, they could connect the sentence together. So that's what linking verbs are. Now a predicate adjective. A predicate adjective describes the subjects. All right, so when we say predicate adjective, it's describing, and the subject is what? Usually the subject is who the sentence is all about, like the main person that is being spoken about in the sentence. The dark chocolate cake that Julie baked tasted incredibly rich. Okay, so the predicate adjective describes the subject, and the subject in this sentence is rich because that's the adjective there. Now, a predicate noun identifies or renames the subject. The predicate noun identifies or renames the subject. My mother is the most driven salesperson in her division. My mother is the most driven salesperson in her division. Okay, so identify or renames the. It's what renaming the subject salesperson. So now, the most common linking verbs are forms of verbs to be. Other linking verbs include appear, become, feel, grow, look, remain, sing, sound, stay, and taste. So these are other linking verbs, okay? But the most common verbs are all the forms of the verb to be, okay? Like the was, has, is. Those are the linking verbs. So subs can be used as either linking verbs or action verb. Jenna grew tired as the evening wore on. Here, grew is a linking verb, yes, because it's connecting Jenna, okay, and how she felt. Grew is a linking verb, it connects a subject, which is Jenna, to a predicate adjective that describes it. Okay, and then Jenna grew tomatoes in her garden last year. Now, grew in this sentence is an action word. What is she doing? She's growing tomatoes or she grew tomatoes. So you can tell it's not a linking verb because it shows action and because the noun in the predicate does not identify or remain the subject genre. Okay. So that's it for the adjective, predicate noun, and linking verb. So you need to be able to differentiate. Sometimes some linking verbs can be action verbs also. So let's look at some examples. During those dark days of summer, the air conditioned library became our favorite refuge from the relentless heat. So now the linking verb here is became. It connects the subject to the predicate noun refuge. So it's connecting what happened during summer to the predicate noun refuge. So let's see some more. Okay, so the Arctic explorers were lost in the blinding snow despite their high-tech GPS device. Now, the linking verb is where it connects a subject to a predicate adjective lost. So remember that we have predicate adjective and we have the predicate noun and also the linking verb. Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, stayed an active humanitarian long after his presidency. So the linking verb here is stayed. It connects a subject to a predicate noun, humanitarian. Okay. Also, we have according to the realtor, the water from the kitchen faucet tasted thirsty because of the house's 100-year-old plumbing. So now the linking verb here is tasted. It connects a subject to a predicate adjective, rusty. Okay, so let's see more examples before we move on to the test. Amy, typically reserved, becomes downright offensive around her closest friends. Now, becomes here is the linking verb and it connects the subject to a predicate adjective, offensive. So, yeah, that's basically it. I hope that you can differentiate the linking verbs from the predicate adjective. Remember that the predicate adjective describes and the predicate now identifies or rename the subjects. Okay, so let's go. As you can send your answers on the chat. Let's see. This one says to select the linking verb and the predicate noun or predicate adjective. Okay, so what do you think? The first one. Okay, all right, that's great. And then this one now, which is the predicate noun or predicate adjective, and then also the linking verb. What do you think is the answer? Here, the first also. oldest, and is. So is there is the linking verb, okay? And then which one here is the linking verb, predicate noun, or predicate adjective? What do you think as your answer here? Second, appears, and then identical. Okay. Now for the next one, what's your answer here? Predicate noun or predicate adjective? This was in our tutorials. It was became an refuge. Okay, what's this one now? So it's the first one, second one. Okay, let's see. Metropolis. Great job. Okay, so what do we have here again? Page 6. What's the next one for page? Do you think is the first or the second? The first one? Okay. So yeah, that's it for the linking verb, predicate adjective, and predicate nouns. You can try the rest of the test if you are not done yet. But before that, you can ask me questions on the chat. If you have any questions, you can send R, right? I hope I get the pronunciation of your name correct. Thank you for engaging during the lesson. Let me know, do you have any questions? Is there any question you have? First one also. Okay, good job. If you have questions, you can let me know. I will explain to you. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Okay. So I guess that there's no questions. So you have to try to complete the rest of it. You have 29 pages and we got up to page 8. So if you do not understand what we've done so far, you can watch the replay of this after the end of the live and then you can answer the questions on your own, okay? I do hope that you understand this. After that, you just go to your final test and finish up your final test. So yeah, that's it for today. Since on here, we're gonna see next time. Do have a good evening, everyone, and bye.